Hello, everybody. Mr. Brown here for Proclaim Ministries, and this is 31 Days of Wisdom, day number 10. So today we're talking about Proverbs 10. Before we get started, a few announcements. Number one, if you're watching this on YouTube or on the website, you can also listen to it on the podcast. Proclaim Ministries, the podcast, is simply a podcast where I put all of the teaching that I do. If I'm at an event and I actually record and have good audio, I'll put that up there. If I do series like this or just different teaching, I'll put all that there. You can subscribe in iTunes. It's called Proclaim Ministries, the podcast. That is not going to be the same as Connecting Faith and Life, the podcast. I'll be starting that in February. I'm excited about that. That will be more of a talk show format. I've already recorded a few episodes. We do different segments just to help students live for God by connecting faith and life. So for all that information, go to proclaimministry.com and click on the connect button, or you can do proclaimministry.com/connect, and you'll find all the ways you can connect with us and also give your input on this series. We'd love to hear from you. I keep saying that, and I'm hearing from some of you, and I loved it, but no one has called the 24-hour feedback phone yet. Are y'all scared to have your voice on the show? I would love to play a clip of one of you talking. So just leave a voice message at 530-535-8121. Once again, that's 530-535-8121. I guess when you say it twice, you just say it slower the second time, right? 530-535-8121. Something like that. So with that said, here we go with day number 10 of 31 Days of Wisdom, a journey through the book of Proverbs. Growing up, I loved going to buffets. Not so much anymore. But back in the day, man, I remember we go play basketball and we go to this place called Old Country Buffet. And I lived in Milwaukee, but we went to Brown Deer, and it was out there on Brown Deer Road. And me and my friends would go play basketball in the morning. Then we go to Old Country Buffet and sit there and just eat and gorge. And then after we get to eat, we just sit there for a while, go to the bathroom, eat some more. We just love picking and choosing what we wanted to eat when we wanted to eat it. We spent our days there. It was pretty funny. I don't like buffets that much anymore because it's kind of like a contest. If I go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, I'm going to win. I'm going to eat everything I can because I'm going to win. And that's the wrong mentality when you get my age. You can't be eating everything just because it's there. But anyway, I think of that because I think in chapter 9 of Proverbs, he kind of gives a bunch of wisdom. Solomon begins to give a bunch of wisdom, a whole bunch of different type of topics. And so I figured, you know what, today I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick one thing. I'm going to control my diet or I'm going to focus and meditate on one verse. And it was hard because there's so many verses in here that kind of just jumped out at me. So I want you to read through it and just pick one thing. Just one thing and kind of meditate on that thought. I think sometimes we try to get so much and we end up getting nothing. But if we take one thought that he gives, especially in the book of Proverbs, kind of just hone in on that and meditate on that, memorize it even. And the verse I picked today is one I had memorized. But there's so much in here. Like look at verse 17. It says, whoever heeds instruction is on the path to life, but he who rejects reproof or correction leads others astray. Verse 27, the fear of the Lord prolongs life, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. I mean, there's so much in here. Even verse 3, the Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but he thwarts the cravings of the wicked. I mean, there's so much in here, but if I had to pick one, which I did, I made my own rules, picking one thing, one verse, that is verse 19. I'm going to read what it says out of ESV. That's what this Bible is, but I'm also reading out of a different version. It says this, when words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent. Now, I'm going to read it out of a different version, the one I memorized out of. I think I memorized it out of the New American Standard Version, which says this. Verse 19, when there are many words, transgression is unavoidable, but he who restrains his lips is wise. Oh, I love that. But when there are many words, transgression or sin is unavoidable, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The reason I like that verse because it was something I needed to apply in my life and still need to apply in my life. When you talk so much, there's so many words, ultimately you're gonna say something that's stupid. that's the Mr. Brown version, right? The more you talk sometimes, you're gonna end up saying something. I recorded a video on HelloMrBrown.com at the beginning of the year, just to ask a simple question: do you have something to say, or are you just saying something? And I told the story where I have felt the issue sometimes when I'm just saying something. Now, I remember one time I was at a camp and I was a leader. I was a speaker at the camp for the week, and we were at lunch, and I think I was married. Yeah, my wife was there, and we were at lunch with some students, and we're just talking and having a good time. And I'm one of those kind of people. If you laugh at my jokes, I'm gonna keep cracking jokes. If you think I'm funny, I'm gonna keep trying to be funny. I don't do as much anymore, but then I would, and I kept saying things, and I ended up saying something. I was joking about something. I don't want to repeat what it was, but it hurt somebody so bad, and they didn't say anything at the moment. They didn't say anything at that time, but later, about 2 days later, I got a call and had to meet with her parents. And what had happened was I said something that hurt her so bad, and it wasn't even directed at her. It just triggered something in her from her past, and it deeply hurt her. And I think of that, and it hurt me that I hurt this young lady simply because I kept talking. When there's many words, sin is unavoidable, but he who restrains his lips is wise. There is a time to simply shut up, to close your mouth. Don't just say something because there's dead air. A lot of us sometimes we just talk because there's no one else saying anything. And a lot of times we can say things that really, really will hurt people long term. When there's many words, sin is unavoidable. The more you talk, the more you just blabber, you're going to say something that you're going to regret. You're going to put your foot in your mouth, and it can hurt a lot of people. And the thing about words is words can help and words can hurt. But the more and more you just talk and not having something to say and you're just saying something, you're going to hurt people. And so that was my one takeaway, because it reflected a lot of my past. And now I hope I am wise, that I'm choosing my words wisely. I just don't blurt things out. And I don't, just growing up as a boy, especially in school, we always look for a laugh. You know, I kind of joke with the boys I speak at schools now. Boys in class in elementary school, junior high, we love to hear girls laugh. So the teacher may be teaching, we think of something funny, we crack that joke. And as soon as the girls laugh, we like, yeah, I'm the man. But then another boy will hear that and go, I got something funny to that. And then he'll make the girls laugh. And they're like, yeah. You know, and it's just something that I kind of grew up. That's just my perspective. That's how I grew up. And when I tell that to boys in schools, they laugh because they agree with it. They say, oh, yeah, it's true. And so even in those moments, I have to learn as an adult that I just can't say anything all the time. Where there are many words, sin is unavoidable, that you're going to say something that's wrong. So it's called self-control, restraint. He says, but who restrains his lips is wise. So there's a time to crack a joke. There's a time to be funny. And there's a time to simply shut up. So the question is, what will you choose? As you look through the book of Proverbs, hopefully that spoke to you. But as you look through chapter 10, I would love to hear from you. What's your one thing? What's the one thing out of chapter 10 that kind of just spoke to you, jumped out of you, grabbed you, choked you, shook you around a little bit like that? Because sometimes the scriptures do that to you. You look at it and it's like, that's for me. So what was the one thing? That was for me. That was a reminder to me that the more and more I talk sometime, sin is unavoidable, but he who restrains his lips is wise. So thanks for joining us for this edition of, or this installment of 31 Days of Wisdom, a journey through the book of Proverbs, chapter 10.